A man went to work away from home. When he returned, he found his wife with another man. The man was poor and did not have much to offer his wife. He thought about leaving and finding a better job, so he told her, "I plan to travel far to get a job and work hard to give you a comfortable life you deserve. I don't know how long I'll be gone, but please wait for me." The woman nodded, saying, "Don't send me money. I don't want to feel like I'm a burden to you. I will continue with my job. Just save, and when you come back, we'll enjoy it." Then the young man left. He walked for many days until he found a farmer who needed help. The man offered his services and was immediately accepted. However, before starting work, he established some conditions. "Let me work for you as long as I want, but when I think it's time for me to go home, please let me go. I wouldn't say I like to receive my salary. I ask you to keep it until the day I leave." The young man worked for 20 years without holidays or rest. Finally, after 2 decades, he went to his boss to tell him, "Boss, I need my money. It's high time to go home." The boss replied, "You're leaving. It's okay. After all, I made a deal with you and I'll keep my word. However, before you go, I want to offer you something new in exchange for the money. I suggest 3 tips. If I give you the money, I won't give you all 3 directions, but if I give you all 3 tips, I won't give you the money. Now go to your room and think about your answer." The man thought for 2 days until he finally decided and went to the boss. He said, "I want the 3 tips." The boss explained again, "If I give you all 3 tips, I won't give you the money." But the man insisted, "It doesn't matter, I want the tips." Then the boss said, 1. Never take shortcuts. The shortest and most unknown paths can cost you your life. 2. Never be too curious, because curiosity can sometimes be deadly. 3. Never make decisions in moments of anger, because when you regret it, it might be too late. After giving these 3 tips, the boss gave him 3 enormous plans for his trip. Here are 3 loaves. 2 are for you to eat while traveling, and the last is for you to eat with your wife. So finally, after 20 years of working so hard, the man walked home to be with his wife, whom he loved so much. On his way, he met a stranger who greeted him and asked, "Where are you going today?" He responded, "To a distant place about 20 days away if I keep walking there." The stranger said, "Oh, this is way too long. I know a very safe shortcut and you'll arrive in only 5 days. The man began to follow the suggested path until he remembered the first tip. Then he came back and went the long way. He later learned the shortcut led to an ambush. A few days later, he found a small hut in a village he could rest in. He kindly asked the owner if he could stay only 1 night, and luckily they accepted. But during the night, he awoke to a terrifying scream. He stood up and went to the door to see what happened. He was about to open it, but then he remembered the second tip, and he went back to bed. At dawn after breakfast, the owner asked him if he hadn't heard the screams that night. He affirmed he heard it. Then the host said, "Weren't you curious what was going on?" And he responded, "No." Then the host said, "You're the first traveler to stay overnight and leave this town alive and well. The neighbor's entirely crazy. He often yells at night to get people's attention, creates problems, even hits people and has weapons. Nobody does anything to him because he's a relative of policemen. Last time he left, a man was very severely injured. You're lucky." The man continued on his long journey, anxious to arrive soon. After many days and nights of walking, he was exhausted, but he finally reached his home. It was getting dark. Suddenly, through the open door, he could see the silhouette of his wife, but he also noticed she wasn't alone. There was a man beside her. He caressed gently her hair, and the man immediately, with hatred and bitterness, decided he'd undertake them and make them pay without mercy. He even grabbed an axe. But he took a deep breath and remembered the 3rd tip. He stopped, reflected, and decided to sleep outside. That night, he slept in the middle of the bushes, determined that he'd make a decision the next day at dawn when he was calmer. The man told himself, "I wouldn't kill my wife and her lover. I'm gonna go back to my boss and ask him to give me a job again. But before I do, I want to tell my wife I've always been faithful to her." Then he went to the front door and knocked when his wife opened and recognized him. She cried and hugged him warmly. The man tried to push her away but couldn't. Then with tears in his eyes, he said, "I was faithful to you and I felt betrayed." She was shocked by the accusation and asked, "How did I betray you? I've never done it. I waited patiently for you for 20 years. Then he asked her about the man that was with her yesterday, and she said, "What are you saying? That's our son. When you left, I discovered I was pregnant, and today he's 20. Hearing that, the man asked for forgiveness. He saw his son and hugged him. After that, he told her all the stories he experienced while outside. Then his wife made coffee and put the last piece of bread that her husband's boss gave him on the table. After a prayer of thanksgiving, the man broke the bread, and when he looked closely, he found gold coins inside. It was worth more than the correct pay for his 20 years of dedication and work. A very thoughtful story, so never look for the easiest way in life. Sooner or later, something can go wrong. Don't be curious. Sometimes you can find unpleasant things, and finally, never make decisions when you're not feeling well. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our latest uploads.